Have you ever felt completely and utterly lost? I mean, truly adrift. Like you're watching your own life from a distance, unsure of who that person on the screen even is anymore. That was me. Not long ago, I found myself sitting on the floor of my apartment, surrounded by a fortress of unpacked boxes. I'd been living there for 6 months, but you wouldn't know it. Each box was a monument to a decision I couldn't make, a future I couldn't picture. My phone buzzed endlessly with messages from friends and family, all asking the same dreaded question. So, what's next? And I had no answer. Each buzz felt like a tiny judgment, a reminder of my own inertia. My laptop was open to a dozen different tabs. Job postings I wasn't qualified for, online courses I'd never finish, travel destinations I couldn't afford. It was a digital graveyard of abandoned ambitions. Outside, the city hummed with a life that felt a million miles away. People were going somewhere, doing something. And I was just here, stuck. The silence in my apartment was deafening, broken only by the hum of the refrigerator and the frantic looping thoughts in my own head. You're failing. You're behind. Everyone else has it figured out. I remember staring at my reflection in the dark screen of my phone. The person looking back at me had tired eyes and a forced, tight smile she perfected for social gatherings. Who was she? What did she want? The truth was, I had no idea. I had spent years following a path that wasn't mine. I ticked all the boxes society told me to tick. Good grades, a respectable degree, a stable job right out of college. I had done everything right, but it all felt so wrong. It was like I had been so focused on the map that I forgot to look up and see the scenery. And now, the map had run out, and I was in the middle of an unfamiliar wilderness with no compass. That night, something inside me just broke. Not in a dramatic movie scene kind of way, but in a quiet, shattering glass sort of way. I was so tired. Tired of pretending, tired of comparing, tired of the relentless pressure to have a 5-year plan when I couldn't even plan my next 5 minutes. I buried my face in my hands, and for the first time in a long time, I just let myself feel it all. The confusion, the fear, the disappointment. I didn't try to fix it or rationalize it. I just let myself be lost. And in that moment of complete surrender, a strange sense of peace washed over me. It was the calm in the eye of my own personal hurricane. For the first time, I wasn't fighting the feeling of being lost. I was just sitting with it. And that, right there, was the beginning of everything changing. I woke up the next morning feeling different. The weight was still there, but it wasn't crushing me anymore. It felt more like a heavy blanket, something I could eventually push off. I made a cup of coffee and, instead of opening my laptop to the usual choir of digital anxieties, I just sat by the window and watched the world wake up. I didn't have a plan, and for the first time, that felt okay. It felt like an open space, a blank page instead of a dead end. My journey didn't start with a grand epiphany or a one-way ticket to a faraway land. It started with one small, almost laughably simple question. What feels good right now? Not what should I do? Not what would look good on Instagram? But what would bring a tiny spark of genuine feeling into this grey existence? The answer that morning was a walk. No destination, no fitness tracker, just walking. So I did. I walked through neighborhoods I'd only ever driven through, noticing the way sunlight filtered through the leaves, the smell of a local bakery, the sound of kids laughing in a park. It was like I was seeing the world in color for the first time. This became my new practice. Every day I would ask myself that question. Some days, the answer was to read a chapter of a fantasy novel I loved as a kid. Other days, it was to try a new recipe, splashing sauce all over the kitchen and not caring about the mess. I spent an entire afternoon in an art supply store, just touching different kinds of paper and smelling the paint. I didn't buy anything. I just allowed myself to be curious, to be a beginner. I started a curiosity journal, a place to write down questions without the pressure of needing to find immediate answers. What would it be like to learn pottery? Why are clouds shaped that way? What kind of story would that old building tell if it could talk? Slowly, I began to unpack. Not just the physical boxes in my apartment, but the metaphorical ones I'd been carrying for years. The box of other people's expectations. The box of my own harsh self-judgment. The box labeled my perfect life plan. With each item I put away, I felt lighter. I decorated my space not for some future guest, but for me, right now. I filled it with things that made me happy. Plants, secondhand books, a ridiculously comfortable armchair. My home started to feel like a sanctuary, a true reflection of the person I was becoming, not the person I thought I should be. During this time, I stumbled upon a quote that became my mantra. Lost seasons are growth seasons. It reframed everything for me. I wasn't failing or falling behind. I was in a necessary period of growth. Think about a forest after a fire. It looks desolate, destroyed, but underneath the ash, the soil is being enriched. New seeds are germinating, preparing for a period of incredible, vibrant new life. I realized I wasn't in a dead end. I was in the soil. I was gathering nutrients, strengthening my roots, preparing for my own spring. This shift in perspective was revolutionary. The pressure to find my passion overnight vanished. Instead, I focused on following my curiosity. That curiosity about pottery. I signed up for a beginner's class. I was terrible at it. My first few creations were lopsided, wobbly messes. But I loved the feeling of the clay in my hands. The focus it required. The way the rest of the world just melted away. I wasn't trying to become a master potter. I was just enjoying the process. My curiosity journal led me to a volunteer position at a local animal shelter. Walking those grateful, tail-wagging dogs became the highlight of my week. It wasn't my career, but it was deeply purposeful. Through these small, intentional acts, a new picture of my life began to emerge. It wasn't a linear path, but more of a mosaic, pieced together from all these different sparks of interest and joy. I started talking to people in my pottery class and at the shelter. I heard their stories of career changes, of hobbies turned into businesses, of finding joy in unexpected places. I realized almost no one has it all figured out. We're all just making it up as we go, piecing together our own beautiful mosaics. The fear of the unknown didn't disappear entirely, but its voice became much quieter. It was drowned out by the excitement of discovery. The question, what's next? No longer filled me with dread. Now it filled me with a sense of possibility. Maybe what's next is another pottery class. Maybe it's learning a new language. Maybe it's starting a small dog-walking business. I don't have a 5-year plan, and I might never have one. And that is the most freeing feeling in the world. My journey taught me that being lost isn't a sign of failure. It's an invitation. It's an opportunity to let go of the map someone else drew for you, and to start drawing your own. It's a chance to get quiet, to listen to that inner voice you've been ignoring, and to follow the breadcrumbs of your own curiosity. Your growth season might look different from mine. It might involve traveling, or going back to school, or starting a family, or simply learning to rest. There's no right way to do it. The only rule is to be gentle with yourself and to trust that the path will reveal itself one step at a time. If you're feeling lost right now, sitting amongst your own unpacked boxes, please know this. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are in the rich, fertile soil of a growth season. This confusion is the compost for your future clarity. So be brave enough to sit in the uncertainty. Ask yourself, what feels good right now? And then, take one small step in that direction. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. Your spring is coming. Thanks so much for watching and sharing this space with me today. If this story resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your own journey in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more conversations about navigating life's beautiful, messy, and wonderful seasons. See you next time.